Buffalo versus New England. Before the season began, this game appeared to be an ordinary one on the NFL schedule. But today, 6 weeks later, all 80,020 seats in Buffalo Stadium in Orchard Park would be filled. A large Patriot contingent made the trip to witness a confrontation between the two leaders in the AFC's Eastern Conference. The Patriots are off to a surprisingly sizzling beginning. They went into the game undefeated, were coming off that rarest of NFL games, a shutout. In fact, their unexpectedly resolute defense has not relinquished a touchdown in the last 9 periods of play. New England's employment of the Oklahoma defense with the three-man front has been the talk of the league. Offensively, New England has been superb, but Chuck Fairbanks' attack is being worn down by injury. Both of his starting wide receivers have broken limbs. To make matters worse for Fairbanks, his opponents, the Bills, are number 1 in total defense in the American Conference. Lou Saban has quietly been building a solid defensive squad since he returned to Buffalo 2 years ago. The Bills' shutout of Joe Namath and the Jets 2 weeks ago marked just how quickly Saban's young defense has grown. So this game between the Bills and the Patriots had all the ingredients. 2 young, improving defenses, 2 of the finest young quarterbacks in all of football. The dramatically matured Joe Ferguson of the Bills and Jim Plunkett, the Patriots passer, who has been superb in keeping his team undefeated. Ferguson and Plunkett ranked 1st and 3rd, respectively, in the American Conference passing ratings. This game also features 2 of the most exciting runners to be found anywhere. O.J. Simpson, as his custom, leads the conference in rushing, while New England's flashy Mac Herron ranks 6th, but is 1st in punt and kickoff returns. So those were the ingredients going into this game, a game vital to both teams. The Bills must win or drop 2 games behind the Patriots in the torrid race for the top in the East. New England, determined to remain unbeaten in the face of a murderous schedule. Today, the Bills of Buffalo would be their quarry in the NFL Game of the Week. The very first play from scrimmage set the tone for this hotly contested football game. On a routine off-tackle play, fullback Sam Cunningham broke through the front line, benefited from some good blocking, and went 75 yards to pay dirt. Cunningham, known more for his short yardage slamming, showed he has open field speed, and the Patriots took a 7-0 lead with just 21 seconds elapsed on the clock. But from here on in, beginning with a fine return of the following kickoff by Wallace Francis, the ball game belonged to Buffalo. Francis had given his team fine position on its own 44. Then, as young Joe Ferguson and the offense took the reins, the Buffalo front line proceeded to simply blow the Patriots off the line of scrimmage. On 6 consecutive running plays by O.J. Simpson and Jim Braxton, Buffalo moved steadily upfield through the Patriots' seemingly paper defense. New England was being beaten at the point of attack. They reacted with the typical frustration of losers. One would never know it was the Patriots who were ahead at this point of the game. Now that the run was well established, Joe Ferguson took the air route. Here, too, his front line was superb. Note the lack of any pressure by the Pats' defense as Ferguson calmly waited for a receiver to come open. After Ahmad Rashad gathered in the first pass of the day, Ferguson came back with another, with perfect protection from his line. Tight end Paul Seymour was the target, and the Bills had a touchdown. 2 years ago, Buffalo upgraded its offensive line with 2 first-round draft picks, Joe DeLamielleure, a guard, and Paul Seymour, a tackle. But because of Jan White's retirement, a tight end was sorely needed, and the rookie Seymour got the job despite the fact Buffalo felt he couldn't catch the ball. With Seymour, the tight end was primarily a blocker. This year, Buffalo drafted Oklahoma's Reuben Gant #1, and Seymour was to move to his natural position at tackle. But a preseason injury to Gant has negated that move, and so far, Seymour has been superb both in blocking and receiving. With the score tied, the Bills' defense surfaced, shutting off Sam Cunningham and Mac Herron and forcing a Patriot punt that traveled a mere 24 yards. With the ball near the midfield stripe, fullback Jim Braxton bulled his way into New England territory. Braxton, as the man who plays next to O.J. Simpson in the Bills' backfield, doesn't always gain the notice he deserves. He's very big at 243 pounds, and in his 4th year as a pro, Braxton is using all his abilities as a runner, blocker, and excellent receiver to give the Bills' offense much more versatility. After Braxton's catch over the middle brought the ball to the 29, O.J. Simpson took a similar route and, showing his remarkable acceleration, broke the play for a score. Believe it or not, it was the first touchdown of the year for the Juice, and the first he has gotten as a receiver since his rookie year. John Leopold missed his 3rd extra point of the season, however, so Buffalo led 13-7. The next Patriots series amply demonstrated the effectiveness of Buffalo's defensive units. On the kick, the league's #1 returner, Herron, was brought down on a fine effort by number 52, Merv Krakow, at the 13. A clipping penalty moved the ball further back to the Patriots' 7. Then huge Sam Cunningham was cut down by 5'10" Tony Green, number 43. But that was not the last of the tiny safety from Maryland, for on the very next play, Jim Plunkett retreated into his end zone and threw to Green at the 27. 23 yards later, Buffalo had the ball at the New England 4-yard line, and Mr. Green had earned himself one of the game balls. A repeat of this key play shows Plunkett had good action from his protective wall and simply overthrew his receiver, number 86, Bob Windsor. There is no doubt that Plunkett and the Patriots' passing ability was severely hampered all day by the absence of Darrell Stingley with his broken arm and Randy Vataha with a pulled thigh muscle. Remember, too, that although Reggie Rucker was in the lineup, he was playing with a fractured wrist. A rookie, Steve Schubert, was starting for New England, and with him and the incapacitated Rucker at the wide receivers, Plunkett's passing options were greatly reduced. After Tony Green's interception put the ball on the 4, O.J. Simpson scored his 2nd touchdown of the season, and the Bills' lead zoomed to 13. Another look at Simpson's score shows his initial thrust was met hard, but the Juice recovered quickly and backed over for his touchdown. Simpson is hurting and is resigned to playing all season on an ankle he injured in the season's first game. Events continued to go Buffalo's way when Mac Herron fumbled on the Patriots' first play after O.J. scored. In a big game for both teams, it was Buffalo's defense that was making the big plays and controlling this game. However, here for the first time today, the Patriot defense asserted itself and roared in to sack Joe Ferguson. Sugar Bear Hamilton led the rush. The Patriots' nose guard had been double-teamed and handled well up to this point. Inspired by Hamilton's sack at the start of the second quarter, Plunkett found little Mac Heron down the right sideline for 17 yards and only the second first down of the game for the Patriots. Now, mixing his plays well and aided by a revived offensive line, Plunkett and the Patriots began a long, time-consuming drive on the ground. The drive ended when Plunkett, running to his left, pitched back to Sam the Bam, who outraced everyone to the corner of the end zone. Another look at the score reveals a key block thrown by little Mac Heron, enabled Cunningham to get around the left flank. New England had finally shown some offensive spark, and despite being completely outplayed in the first quarter, only trailed by 6 points. But not for long. Several plays later, Joe Ferguson hit tight end Paul Seymour for his second touchdown, and the Bill lead returned to 13. For the remainder of this high-scoring first half, the Buffalo defense safely guarded their 13-point advantage and continued to make the Patriot offense look bad, although at times the Patriots needed no help. Buffalo was content to give the ball to O.J., who, despite his bad ankle, ran well. The half ended with the score: Buffalo 27, New England 14. Opening the second half, trailing by 27-14, the young Patriots defense had its work cut out. Everybody in Rich Stadium knew that the Bills would attempt to conserve their 13-point lead by giving the football to O.J. Simpson again and again. And the New Englanders, who needed a big play very badly, would first have to stop the game's greatest running back. On the first series of the third quarter, New England did just that. And when Buffalo was forced to punt, the Patriots got the big play they needed from their little spark plug, Mac Heron. Heron's return was good for 48 yards to the Buffalo 31. And 3 plays later, Jim Plunkett picked out Reggie Rucker for a 24-yard advance to the Bills' 8. Heron got 6 more on a sweep. And then Sam Bam Battering Ram Cunningham did his thing, narrowing Buffalo's advantage on the scoreboard to 27-21. Neither team could build the next time each got its hands on the football. But on the resulting exchange of punts, Buffalo gained 26 yards. And with 5.5 minutes left in the quarter, Buffalo began to succeed with their ball control tactics. First, Simpson skipped 15 yards in New England territory to the 37. Then Jim Braxton banged 3 times into the middle for a first down. After 5.5 minutes and 11 plays, O.J. Simpson picked his way to the Patriots' 5. Having allowed the Buffalo Bills to stack 6 first downs back-to-back, now New England's grudging defense stood very much with their backs to the wall, trailing 27-21, with the Bills threatening at the top of the fourth quarter. Two plays into the last period, the Bills quarterback Joe Ferguson sidestepped the rush and found Ahmad Rashad in the end zone for an apparent score. But the play was nullified for offensive holding, and a slow-motion ground-level return to the scene of the crime shows that Buffalo's Donnie Green, number 74, was the offender, as he was neither discreet nor ceremonious in laying hands on the Patriots' number 72, Mel Lunsford. Joe Ferguson could not sustain the drive for 6 when the Patriots gambled on an all-out third-down blitz. The Bills were forced to go for 3. And though Buffalo had held the ball for 16 plays and more than 7 minutes, they had been denied the game-icing touchdown. And John Leipoldt's 35-yarder left New England still with a chance, trailing 30-21. Following the kickoff, Mac Herron almost broke away on another spark plug play, but Mike Kadish's saving tackle kept New England in their end of the field. In turn, the Bills too were held in check. But on their next series, the Patriots once again threatened to drive as Jim Plunkett hit tight end Bob Windsor near midfield. But once again, Mike Kadish put the stop on the Patriots when he sacked Jim Plunkett for a 12-yard loss on third down. New England was forced to punt. And showing the eagerness for battle that came to New England with head coach Chuck Fairbanks, the Patriots headhunters went looking for the break, which would put the Pats back in contention. Number 51, Maury Dan Kroger's level best, failed to weaken Donnie Walker's grip, and this time, with safe possession, the Bills cut the juice loose. With runs of 10, 6, 8, 2, and 5 yards, O.J. put together first downs and threatened to run right into the evening news. Simpson's talents carried the Bills inside the 2-minute warning, where the Patriots at last stiffened. But not until all but 1:47 of the game was expired did Jim Plunkett get his hands back on the football. And then almost disastrously, when his first projectile was picked off by Neil Craig, but an interference call on Robert James kept New England's faint hopes alive. Many teams might have unconsciously surrendered, trailing by 9 with only a minute and a half remaining. But Chuck Fairbanks has transplanted the heart of a hero into these once uninspired breasts, and Jim Plunkett came back pitching, taking what he could get out of the Bills' prevent. First, Rucker over the middle, and then Rucker with a nice grab at the sidelines. Cleverly executed screen to Sam Cunningham was good for 12 yards, sustaining the drive to the Buffalo 39. With only 36 seconds left, there was no real hope. But these Patriots didn't know it, and Plunkett kept pitching. With all but 9 seconds gone, Plunkett hit the payoff from 12 yards out to Reggie Rucker with broken wrist and all. And as Rucker stepped over the prostrated body of his fallen foe, the gloom on the face of the Bills' Buffalo was real. But the Patriots could not recover their onside kick, and the 30-28 score was finalized. In a ceremony which has become all too rare in pro football, the story of the game was written across the faces of the two opposing coaches. For Chuck Fairbanks of New England, there was pain following the first frost of defeat for his Patriots in '74. For Lou Saban of Buffalo, there was the exquisite joy of knowing that he had taken first sweet blood and the most important victory of the season so far from one who will be a long-time nemesis. But separately, the two men were already feeling the pinch of sharing room at the top in the AFC's Eastern Division. The National Car Rental Player of the Week is the Bills' tight end, Paul Seymour, a man drafted as an offensive tackle and regarded dubiously as a receiver, but whose offensive skills contributed in large measure to the Bills' important victory.